Yo, what is going on, man? In today's episode, what we're going to be talking about is you need to physically and mentally exhaust yourself every single day. The reason I came up with today's topic was that someone I personally know had told me that they were experiencing insomnia and they had trouble sleeping. And listen, if you have real insomnia, like you have a medical diagnosis for insomnia, I'm not guaranteeing this will work. But the way he was saying it, I kind of figured he didn't have a real medical diagnosis of insomnia. You know, like people say that they're depressed, but they don't actually have the real diagnosis of depression. Like very few people do it. A lot of people do feel sad and down all the time, but they don't have like the real depression where there's actually something chemically wrong with your brain. They just feel down all the time. There's a major difference. But that's besides the point, man. He was mentioning to me he had trouble sleeping and not often he had insomnia. Normally the first question I asked him was like, well, are you going to bed at the same time every day? And the answer was no. Are you waking up on the same time every single day? The answer was no. What do you do before you go to bed? Oh, I spend hours on my phone. Do you also get physical workout? Answer was no. Do you have a set routine that you follow every single day? The answer was no. And then I asked him, do you make a list of 3 or 4 tasks you need to do every single day in order to push yourself forward towards the goal you want to achieve? And the answer was no, man. All right. I told him that you could have insomnia, but I do think it's just the way you're living right now that's putting you in a constant state of stress. So many of the issues we have in our life when I really think about it, can naturally just be fixed by physically and mentally exhausting yourself every single day. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, to start off, man, this is my personal side of it, but when I started physically and mentally exhausting myself every single day, one thing that happened was I naturally cut out a lot of my bad vices. And let me explain how and why this even happened to occur with. So first off, because I'm physically and mentally exhausting myself the entire day, I'm basically being proactive and always constantly doing something. When you are faced with a lot of time where you're just doing absolutely nothing and you're just sitting around and thinking, tends to be the time where you end up choosing those vices or doing those actions that are not beneficial for your particular life. One example of mine was I would have a really bad habit every single night that I spent hours scrolling on social media. And I also would want to smoke weed before I went to bed. It just helped me go to sleep. But now because I physically and mentally exhaust myself every single day, by the time it hits 9 or 10 o'clock, I can't even go on my phone at the end of the night to scroll. I'm too fucking exhausted. It's gotten to the point now, man, because I'm so routine that the second I lie down on my bed, I fall asleep instantaneously, man. My body just shuts off. Like I'm so exhausted. I don't have the energy to do the bad habits and bad vices that maybe you motherfuckers do. And listen, I had those too, man. I just had to learn a way on how I could eliminate them and make it very difficult to participate in these behaviors. That's one example, man. Because I'm physically and mentally exhausting myself the entire day, some of the bad habits I would do at night, I can't even do them anymore because by the time it's like my time to wind down and relax, I'm so exhausted, I don't even have the energy to do them. Like I'd rather just go to sleep instead. And then on top of that too, when you physically and mentally exhaust yourself every single day, one thing I feel like he was having trouble with when it came to his sleep was he was having a lot of stress. And stress typically comes from a bunch of different factors, but a lot of the times it comes from anxiety. And anxiety is worrying about the things in the future. You are not in a state of presence. And listen, I had this issue too. I used to be very, very anxious. And I'm not saying I'm completely anxious free now. Sometimes I do get anxious, but it has severely went down because part of physically and mentally exhausting yourself every single day is you have to know what you have to do every single day in order to make that outcome occur. I every single night before I go to bed, I plan out what my next day is going to look like. I'm going to plan out when I'm going to work out, when I'm going to work, when I'm going to work on my business, when I'm going to eat. I detail what my entire day is like, and then I write 3 or 4 things I want to do. So even if they're like things that, these 3 or 4 things that you need to do are 3 or 4 things that are going to bring you closer towards your goal. And for you, man, it maybe could just be like those one-time tasks you kind of want to get rid of that have always been lingering on the back of your head. I know, for example, sometimes, like just the other day, man, I had a bank account that I needed to close, and I hadn't closed it for a long time. It was a bank account I completely forgot about the bank account. The point is, man, I let this go on for a while, and then one day I was just like, Leo, let me just add it to one of the tasks I need to do tomorrow. One of the tasks, close that bank account. By creating your entire schedule the night before, and then the 3 or 4 tasks you need to do every single day to bring you closer towards your goal, you're eliminating a lot of stress and anxiety because you know exactly what you need to do. You have a set schedule and you have a set amount of goals, and you know what you need to focus on. And if you just knock down everything on that list of the 3 or 4 daily tasks, you're gonna find your life is gonna improve immensely, man. I'm telling you, this is what I personally did, and it has changed my life in such a short amount of time. I want y'all to change your life the same way I am currently. Now that I've explained why exhausting yourself physically and mentally every single day will help improve your life, and in this situation, it was gonna help my friend who was experiencing insomnia. How can we physically and mentally exhaust ourselves every single day? The first way, let me talk about physically, is by getting a workout in. I know. I talk about fitness all the time, man. But listen, man, fitness is such a great activity that transforms anyone's life. I promise you, if you are fat as fuck and you get into the best shape of your life, you're gonna turn into a different human being. You're not gonna be the same person you were before. By getting a workout and getting some cardio in every single day, you're doing the physical aspect. Working out, I can go into the numerous benefits, but one of the best benefit of it is that because you're physically exhausting yourself from the workout, it's going to be naturally way easier to fall asleep. That's the physical part, but mentally, man, it's like what I talked about earlier when it comes to having a daily schedule and a set of 3 or 4 tasks you want to accomplish every single day for that particular day. Because when you follow a set routine and you're working towards those 3 or 4 tasks every single day, and eventually you're going to become so efficient, those tasks are going to become greater and bigger. They're going to become greater and greater, and they're going to require way more energy. Now that you are doing your schedule and the daily tasks, you're going to be using your mental energy because you need to follow your routine and do those daily tasks. And the ultimate reward from just physically and mentally exhausting yourself every single day is just the price of satisfaction and pride at the end of the day, where you can go into your bed knowing that you absolutely killed it. And then on top of that too, if you do it consistently over a couple of days, you just won the week. You won the week, you won the month. Or you keep winning weeks, you win the month. And then if you keep winning months, you win the year. And if you're winning years, bro, your life will change, man. Your life will fucking change, man. I hope what I was saying today in this video made sense. Hopefully you guys hear what I'm saying. If you made it all the way to the end of this video and you have something you want me to talk about in particular, let me know in the comments below. If this is your first time watching, subscribe to the channel, man. I post regularly on here. I want to share with you guys values and things that I learned throughout my life so you guys can level up with me. Other than that, man, I'll catch you guys in the next one.